Ani, Michele Wellman-Teeple and I'm here in Bay Mills Indian community with my husband, and today we're going to be demonstrating our styles of powwow dancing. I'm going to do women's traditional style dancing. To start, we are both together going to do a warm-up. Women's traditional dancing is the oldest style of women's dancing as far as I know. I'm not sure how long ago this style of dancing started. It was before powwows were the social events that they are today. And I'll talk a little bit more about my regalia later on.
Anin, Bojo, Wabananung, Dejnakas, Mage, Bucko Teeple and Dejnakas, Inuje Conning and Dunjiba. I am a traditional dancer. Today it's known as a northern style traditional dancer. We have one bustle, and we have a porcupine roach hairpiece, and we wear eagle feathers as part of that regalia that we have. And this regalia stems from some of the clothing that we wore many, many years ago. We have fringe, and that's from our position as warriors and hunters. That fringe was used as like a camouflage out in the woods. And in our dances, we danced in a different style that sometimes imitated the motions of a bird that's going through the woods. And when you see a bird and it's walking around, maybe a partridge or maybe another bird, you'll see them, their heads always bopping. So I like dancing with my head bopping sometimes. It seems to be enjoyed by the young people. So in my dance style, I'll be doing that. Along with the eagle feather bustle, the eagle feathers and the hair roach, I also have a chest plate made of hair pipes. And generally those are deer or buffalo, some of the animals that we might have taken during our hunts. These weren't meant to stop bullets, they were meant to stop and deflect arrows. So that's why we wear those things. And we have good moccasins, and I'd like to acknowledge Vince and Maida Bender, a couple of elders from my early days of dancing. Got these moccasins from them. So I give thanks for Vince and Maida, acknowledge them in our dancing today. We're going to get up with our warm up and begin.
Okay, for our warm up, we're going to start with what's called a round dance. You'll see a lot of communities do round dances nowadays, and that's slightly different from a powwow. And we thought it'd be good to do this because it's a social dance also, and it's done with the men and women dancing together. The way we do it is generally the women start on one side of the arena, and they line up next to each other, facing the center, shoulder to shoulder, and it's a sideways dance step. And the men line up on the other side of the arena, and they go in the opposite direction. So the women dance in a clockwise direction, and the men dance in a counterclockwise direction. And you'll see in part of the dance where when we cross paths the first time, the women are on the inside of the circle, and then when we cross paths the next time, the women are on the outside of the circle. So I forgot to cue up my round dance song. Give me a minute. Should be right here. And before we start this song, I just wanted to say we're going to do 2 different dance steps. So hopefully you'll be able to see how they're different. The first step is just a side to side step. So we bend and step, bend and step, bend and step, bend and step, bend and step. And then the second step is a crossover step, which is more balanced and easier on some of our older dancers' hips. So the crossover step is the leg that's farthest from the direction you're going. In my case, it's my right leg, crosses in the front, and then step to the side left. Cross in the back right, step to the side left. And you just keep going like that with your right leg crossing in front and then crossing in back. And to get more upper body movement in there, or a little bit more of a balanced workout for your whole body, you can also turn your body in the direction that you're moving your foot. So front and turn, side, back and turn, side. Now I'm really exaggerating, but you can see how you can get that better workout and more motion. Sometimes people will dance and swing their arms to the beat. So that's another way to get a little more motion happening in your upper body. So we'll try and incorporate both of those into the song. And so here is our round dance warm-up. Enjoy. Well, we're getting a little bit jumbled up, but we're just going to keep going back and forth, demonstrating the leg movements of the steps. Lifting it up a little bit. We're doing each different step that time. Okay. Another thing we do when we podcast, or if I have my fan with me, I might fan and feet just to flirt a little bit, show my life is dancing, appreciate what he's showing off there. Hard to do this and show you the steps while we're in such a small space. Normally we'd be in a big dance arena dancing around a bunch of drums in the center in the arbor. So hopefully you're getting the idea. And I'm doing this the opposite direction of what I normally do, just to balance out so my hip doesn't get sore. Because it will get sore if I do this step for a whole round dance song. I might be doing it wrong, I don't know.
Okay.
So that's our round dance warm up. Another thing that I forgot to do before we even started dancing was you could stretch your leg muscles by making your legs far apart and leaning first to one side. Take a deep breath, and then the other side, and take a deep breath. You could do that for 4 or 5 repetitions. So sort of combining stretching and kind of a modified yoga move. Another stretch you can do is to stretch the back of your calves by pushing them up against like a wall, or I guess if you're outside at an outdoor powwow getting ready, up against your car tire or some kind of a hard surface. So you put your foot up against that and then bend both your front and back knees. And again, a deep breath, few counts. And again, probably do it beforehand. So each foot. And to stretch your upper body, just a little bit of upper body windmills, twisting. And that kind of pulls the muscles along your whole side of your body to give you a little bit of a stretch. And always remembering to breathe into the stretches that you're doing. Do you have any other stretches that you'd like to show?
Nope, that's good.
Okay. Ani Minwa, hello again. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my regalia. And then I'll demonstrate traditional women's style of dancing and those steps and talk about those a little bit. So the first thing, I guess I'll go toe to my head. The first thing are the moccasins that I'm wearing. The whole regalia beadwork design, these are all beads, came from my husband's design. So we both like roses and red and yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. I like red as well. And red is also the color I am in the birth order in my family, because we go oldest blue, next one red, blue, red, like that. So my color is also red in that warrior society way. So anyway, the moccasins and the leggings and the cape or top were all made by a lady named Samantha Muzzy. She's an awesome bead worker, very fast. It was gifted to me. The moccasins and leggings came from my good friend Julie White Pigeon as a gift when we were doing our traditional wedding ceremony. And then the dress was made by our cousin, and it's deer hide, white deer hide. There's 2 hides in this part of the dress that you could see, one on the front side and one on the back side. And then the top also has 2 deer hides on it, one on each sleeve of the cape. And the other accessories that go with the beadwork are this beaded bag. So I would carry some money for fry bread or cold lemonade, something like that. And also I always carry, when I'm dancing traditional style dancing, a shawl on my left arm, the heart side. And the shawls represent blankets, which represent a lot of things to our Native people. I have a blanket that I received as a gift from my husband, which was our way of becoming married to each other. So it can symbolize marriage. It's a symbol of my being a woman and taking care of my family. I would wrap my babies in it to keep them warm when they're resting, put it on the ground or on a log if I'm outside doing work. Lots of different things that we use these blankets and shawls for. Another thing that I'm wearing is this breastplate. And I'm not what I consider to be a warrior in the sense that I've gone out and fought battles. So breastplate that I'm wearing, I feel is a representation of that I'm a well taken care of partner to my husband. He's an excellent hunter, and he provided many, many deer over the years that we ate. So that's what these bones would have been coming from a deer. I'm also carrying an eagle feather fan. That's a bald eagle, tail feathers. And fans, or eagles, I guess I should say, eagles are very highly regarded and respected among most all Native peoples. One of our stories is that the eagle is a messenger for us Native people to the Creator. So he looks out after us, makes sure we're following our instructions here, and he reports to the Creator every morning that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Another accessory I have on is a choker. All of this beadwork, again, was made by Samantha Muzzy. So this choker matches the roses on the rest of the top, and the leggings, and the moccasins. I also have a back barrette that's a rose, and one that's on the bottom of my braid. I can't reach it. And then I have an eagle feather that's a center feather from an eagle's tail. And I have some eagle fluffs on the left side that shows that I'm married. If I was not married, it would be on my right side. And so that's this buckskin, beaded buckskin regalia that I wear when I dance. And I keep calling it regalia. I don't call it a costume. Some people also call it a dance outfit. But a costume I think of as something you wear when you're doing a stage play or Halloween. And I'm going to demonstrate two different styles of traditional women's dance. Normally we dance in a clockwise direction, and it's just called a graceful walk. And the graceful walk is just, I guess we could start the music so I can just pop over it. So first, before they start singing, I just get my body going to the beat just by standing still and bending my knees. And they've already started singing, but I would start the graceful walk step. And there's actually a couple different ways you can do that graceful walk step. This first one that I'm doing is just toe, heel, just softly touching the earth. Traditional women dancers always have at least 1 foot on the ground when they're dancing. Another graceful walk step that you can do is a little more of a out and back. So it's a little more movement, a little more physical activity. Oh, and I meant to mention that all of my regalia together probably weighs about 20 pounds. So there's just about 4 kilos of yellow beads, just yellow beads. So on days when I'm dancing and it's a hot, muggy summer day, it almost feels like a workout just standing still, waiting to dance. So that's a graceful walk. And the other thing that you'll see when you watch traditional women dancers with a buckskin dress, when they're doing that graceful walk step during grand entry, you'll see the fringe on their sleeves swinging gracefully as well. So I'm not always the best at keeping time, so I try to make sure that it's going with the beat. So we get the fringe going, and that again is a little more incorporating your upper body to get a little more movement and exercise. Now this step, it looks really simple. And when I told a friend of mine I was going to switch to traditional dancing because it was easier, she just laughed at me. She said, "Oh, sure, okay, you'll see." And like I said, this is a dance step that looks really simple, but if you try to do it and you're not in very good shape, don't dance very much, you will realize how much work you're putting into your lower body. It's called a scrubbing step or stationary dance, and it's really just what it sounds like. Any of you watching are old enough to remember, or maybe you've seen it in movies from older time periods, women scrubbing clothes on a washboard in a tub. It sort of looks like that. And so the scrubbing step, I just stay in one place and do that. And then during the song, you'll hear a louder beat, and it seems like it's louder and standing out. And when that honor beat happens, then I'll turn. Again, you get more of an upper body workout by making a more exaggerated movement up and down with your arms, like you are scrubbing on a scrub the washboard. So I kind of skipped the honor beat. So I'll wait for an honor beat. So the other thing about dancing, if you dance in a powwow, that's a competition powwow, is stopping on time. So with experience of dancing at powwows, you start to get to know the drum beats when they're getting ready to wrap up the song. You won't hear the lead singer start another lead when they're getting ready to wrap up the song. And so then you know it's going to be maybe 2 more beats or 3 more beats and then stop. And you don't want to stop in the middle and you don't want to stop. You can't stop in midair, but for traditional women dancers, we're always on the ground anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Now I'm going to turn it over to Bucko, and he's going to talk with you about traditional men's style dancing.
Annie, again, I want to start out from the top of my head, working on the way down. And right here, we've got what is called a scalp lock. And in the old days, the scalp lock was used as a challenge because it's our belief that our spirit enters our body at birth, and it enters through the crown on your head. And that's where it resides, is in your skull throughout your life. And when you go into battle and you're wearing one of these, it's a challenge for the enemy that you're ready to face death. And that's why we wear those. It's also has a porcupine roach that's up here, and it's decorated in 4 hair rows, eagle feathers, and a particular interest on the eagle feathers that I have here, and then this one feather, you can see it. I'm going to bring it right up close to you. And this week I posted on Facebook that Geronimo visited this area, and this is a painting of Geronimo on that feather. So I really appreciate that. Sometimes we'll wear a choker like Michele had. We have a breastplate. Once again, that's made from deer and other large animals such as elk or buffalo or moose. And in the old days, those would be used as armor, not to protect you from bullets, but to deflect arrows, so you wouldn't get injured too badly. We have breechcloth and leggings, and you'll see that we have fringe hanging down from both our leggings and our ties before you get to the moccasins. And those fringes were used as a part of our camouflage when we were hunting. So as we're moving through the woods, we try to move like the birds. And as we're moving through the woods, such as a partridge, you'll see a partridge just moving like that, slowly and moving forward, and movement of the body so that it's taking just jerky type steps. And that's part of his concealment, along with the colors that he is. And many birds are like that. So our traditional dancers are very similar. And I'm going to demonstrate two different styles of dancing. One is called the intertribal. And oftentimes you'll hear people say that, that's a dance for everybody. And the other style that I'll demonstrate is like a hunting story or war dance or brave dance story. And that will, if you watch closely, you can see that perhaps that warrior went out in the woods, or that hunter went out in the woods, went looking for a deer and or a moose or an elk, and he carries with him, his dance stick. This here is a thunder stick, and he's out looking, trying to break up his form as a human, so those deer will come to him, or that elk or moose. So those are the two styles of dancing I'm going to demonstrate: intertribal and a hunt. And you'll be able to see a little story that's told about that hunt. So if you could turn on the music, and we'll begin our intertribal dance. As we're dancing around like this, in an intertribal, we don't get real rambunctious generally, but we will at times. Okay, I'm going to switch it up now, and I'm going to be a hunter out in the woods looking for a deer. I'm looking at the ground, trying to find those deer tracks. Maybe it's in the snow, maybe it's in sand, looking for those tracks. That's why I'm bringing the fan up to my head. Oh, they're getting pressure. So I start looking for them. Oh, I see them. Keep dancing like I don't see them. I get my thunder stick ready. Ow.
Well, we got them. Get my tobacco out. Give thanks for that animal sacrificing himself for my family and my children and myself, my wife. And we're going to harvest that and bring it home. So we give thanks with our tobacco for that offering, that sacrifice of himself so that we might have good life. Miigwech. Okay.
Okay, so that's our demonstration for now. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, I believe the way the videos are going to be presented, there'll be some kind of a way that you can direct questions back to us, and we'll answer you the best we can as soon as we get them. Miigwech, Pasindoyak, Miwag, Wamik.
Oh, miigwech. Okay, I'll start taking these out. Ani Apojo, Wabber Nung Indijnakas, Pino J. Conning and Dojuba, Makwan in Dodem, Ishkwani and De, Ishnabi and Dao, Amikwicho de Sema, Wabber Nung, Nikean, Ashawa Nung, Nikean, Impingishmuk, Nikean, Kiwed Nung, Nikean, Amikwicho de Sema, Wabber Nung, Yawananam, Ngabianam, Imanki, Wadenam, which are they say ma, Kenawaya, which are they say ma, Ishkakmi Kwe Mage, Gashe Ki, which are they say ma, Jamnado. Gonna switch over and ask in our English language. And we're giving thanks with our tobacco today for all that we have, all those things that we're grateful for. We give thanks to that eastern direction, that southern direction, that western direction, and that northern direction. We ask that eastern star, that southern star, that western star, and that northern star, and as far as they reach, to listen to those words that we have. We give thanks with our tobacco for each of us. Give thanks to our Earth Mother who provides for us our food, our clothing, our shelter, and our medicines. We ask her to continue to give us those things that we need to have sustenance, to have this good life. Even during this time of great hardship for our communities and our people, we pray each and every day that those ones that are out there suffering with that virus, we ask that spirits help to look after them. We know that kishkondak, that cedar is being used. We know that sage is being used. We know our tobacco is being used and our sweetgrass is being burned. We know those 4 sacred medicines that Mishkeke is being used in a good way, asking for the Creator, asking for those spirits in those 4 directions to have pity on us, to take care of us. Look at us in our weakness. Look at us, how pitiful we are. We ask with our pipe, tobacco, we ask that we get taken care of in a good way so that we're seen through this hard time. And we ask that Creator, that one who give us that breath of life, placed our spirit here in this head that we have. That spirit stays with us all through that life that we have, from that first breath when it enters to that last breath when it leaves. We ask this tobacco to take those words and those prayers to the Creator so that we might be blessed and that we are grateful for all those things that we have. We ask for our people to return to the happiness that they once had so that we're together again, together at the powwow, together at the many things that we all, each and every one enjoys. These are the kind of things that we ask for. They're very simple, really simple things. We ask to get back to that simplicity. Say miigwech. Oh, gwech.
Not yet. Okay, so the one thing we want to finish up with is a cool down. So normally at a powwow, we would still keep all of our regalia on until they dismiss the dancers for the end of the powwow session that we're in. And we're just going to do this in the state of dress that we are at the moment. And it's just going to be just our traditional step that we demonstrated each of us separately earlier. And it's an intertribal song because usually at the end of the powwow sessions each night, they'll do one last intertribal or one last round of intertribals, and then they dismiss dancers until the next session. So here we go. Here's our cool down. Something I forgot to mention earlier in the demonstration I was doing was when I'm doing a graceful walk step during the honor beats, instead of turning like I did during the stationary step, then I would stop moving forward during the honor beats. But here we're just dancing sort of side by side in place, so you wouldn't see that right now. That's what you'll see a lot of people do during those louder,
If we're all warmed up and the next song is intertribal like this, we'll just dance in place really slowly like we are, just trying to get cooled down, especially after coming off of another dance.
Yeah. Yeah, if we were doing a demonstration or a contest song, we would just want to unwind and cool down into this kind of a dance. And normally when I'm dancing traditional dance, you don't see me swinging my arms like this. Usually I just carry my fan and my shawl, my purse, and just dance. But for purposes of cooling down while we're exercising, you can stretch your arms a little bit and swing loosely by your side. And then another little thing I want to add on to the cool down is a little bit of yoga, stretching, or a couple of physical therapy stretches that I learned when I was trying to strengthen my hips and do some pain management. So I'm trying to get my belt off so I can do those exercises where you can see my legs a little better. So the first stretch I'll do will be the physical therapy stretches for the hips. And it's a very simple stretch. And you do it slowly, counting slowly. I forgot to mention that this belt was also made specifically for me, custom ordered, hand-tooled leather and painted with, again, this rose design. And one of my Anishinaabe names is Memegwas, butterfly. And so this is another thing you'll see most traditional buckskin, beaded buckskin outfits, including this belt, and it has a little medicine pouch towards the front, and then this would be a case for an awl being a tool that we would use to punch holes in leather and other materials when we were making things, maybe birch bark. If we were making birch bark baskets that we were putting quill work into, then we would need an awl. So we would have this awl case, and then this is a knife sheath. So a good Native woman needs a good knife to help with skinning and cutting up deer or moose or elk when her husband brings it home. So the stretches are one for the hips. You just sit on a regular chair or stool and cross one ankle over the knee. And then you just lean forward, and you'll feel that stretch in your hip when you do that. And to a count of 10, slowly. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. And you might want to sit back and lean forward again on that same side 2 times, doing that slow count. And then you do the other side. Same way. Lean forward, and when you feel a good stretch but not pain, that's where you stop, where your body allows you to stop. And then a slow count to 10 again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Always remembering to breathe. 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. So again, you would do that at least twice on each side. And then you could also do a stretch for your calf muscles. Our muscles will get tight if we're dancing long and hard all day. So the way to stretch calf muscles is you can do it seated, where you put your legs straight out in front of you and then pull your toes back towards you. So you're flexing your foot back as far as you can and leaning forward. And that also gives you a stretch in your back. For me, carrying around about 10 pounds of beadwork on my top half of my body makes my muscles on my back get kind of tight and sore in the back. So I would want to stretch my back and my calves. Again, I probably do it for a 10 count. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10. And then back up, take a couple of good breaths. And back down again. And another 10 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another good stretch is part of a yoga stretch. There's actually 2 different stretches that could show you. One would be where you're on your back and pull one knee up towards you. Give it a pull. You can give it a twist and pull it towards the opposite side of your body. You'll feel that stretch in your side of your hip. Again, breathe and count to 10. And then the other side, pull it towards you, keep your foot flexed, count for a couple of breaths, and then bend it towards the opposite side of your body. And give it a 10 count. So there are lots of other stretches that you can do, but those are just a few. And I hope you enjoyed our presentation. And again, if there's any questions that you have, there'll be directions for how to ask questions and who to direct them to, and we'll answer as soon as we get them. Thank you. Mamapi.
Mamapi.